you would know the Doctor Who Show podcast. It's one of the staples that I always listen to month by month, and it's getting a bit more active in terms of adding a few different bits and pieces along the way. But Rob and Dave have been entertaining me for the last, I don't know, about 12, 18 months or so. I discovered them by accident. I've gone back to listen to lots of stuff, and we're very privileged to have Rob along with us today, because Rob's embarking on a special journey. G'day, Rob. How are you going?
Hello, Philip. I'm going very well here from a very wet Sydney.
It is a bit wet, Sydney. It's nice having someone in the same city as me when I'm actually talking to, because usually they're not. As we
You'll live, Philip.
We will. So thanks for coming along, Rob. So tell us about this journey you've decided to embark on and why.
Yeah, you'd think this was something I should have done a year ago when COVID hit and we were all at home for so long, and I didn't do it at all. But recently I thought, you know what, I should finally listen to all the Big Finish audios I have, because I've been collecting, well, hard copy ones, particularly the McGann ones, for a long, long time, almost since they started coming out. And through sales and things, I've collected a good, well, the first 100 easily, and a good chunk of 100 to 200 as well. And I thought, I've got to start listening to this sometime, otherwise I'm going to be dead. And so I started on the journey, and I thought, you know, the only way to do this for real is to start at number one and just work through. Even though I've heard some of them before, particularly the McGann ones, I'm just starting at one, working through.
So when did you start this mammoth task?
When? Oh gosh, about a month or two ago now. So I've worked my way through the first 20-something as we talk here today.
Okay, so our aim is to just check in with you now and then, just to see how the journey's going, to have a look at the list that you're doing. I know you're a bit of a list man. What are you expecting to discover on this journey? Have you got any expectations?
I really wanted to hear the Colin stuff, because everyone talks about the Colin stuff and how Colin is so much better, and he has this companion called Evelyn and she's amazing, and you know, that's what I'd heard about, and I hadn't actually listened to a lot of Colin on Big Finish. When I'd listened to Big Finish, I'd again listened to the McGanns mostly, and then the Davo type stuff, because I'm a big Davo fan, and maybe some McCoy, not many. Colin was like the forgotten doctor here, even though I'd heard such good things for, well, pretty much 2 decades now.
Why has it taken so long?
I have too many interests, is the short answer. I have way too many interests. And even when I'd be driving to work, and that's the prime time to listen to stuff, they'd be competing with podcasts, and there's a million of those I listen to, and they'd be competing with, you know, what we used to call books on tape, but now I guess they just call them audio books. And that sort of thing, and they just didn't get a run. And every time I think about starting, I think I want to start at the start, and I think, you know, that's quite a big commitment, and I wouldn't want to take that first step. And so when I actually took this first step recently, it's now started to flow for me, and I've made my way through the first 10, the first 20, I'm working through the next 10. And it's been pretty easy once I started, but like most things, you've got to actually start and put your foot in the pool.
And being a list maker, you've been blogging about it as you go. Where can we find that?
It's a little blog I do at policebox.net, a weird little site I have where I got the domain a while back, and I thought, what am I going to do here? And I thought, I'll do a Doctor Who site, and that didn't work. I'll do a site just about Davo. That didn't work. And I had all these different thoughts. I almost did an audio site once, like audio comics, all the type of things that aren't Doctor Who on television. Kind of what Doctor Who, Too Hot for TV, that podcast, kind of what they do actually now. None of it worked because I'm just too busy with the podcast. So what this site is almost not Doctor Who stuff. Only the Big Finish stuff on there is the Doctor Who stuff. Everything else is movies I'm watching, TV I'm watching, stuff that's a million miles away from Doctor Who on the whole. Although sometimes, you know, if it's got a Doctor Who connection, I might mention that.
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing things. Just one of the questions we like to ask our guests is how they first got connected to Doctor Who. So, why are you a Doctor Who fan?
Ooh, probably my big brother. I have an older brother. He's 10 years older than me. So when I was 3 or 4, I think he tried showing me the show. This was in the late 70s, and the theme music came on, Tom Baker credits. I ran away from the TV screaming. So that's probably my first exposure to Doctor Who. Then later in the 80s, when I was older, he would be taping it off television and give me the tapes. I would then go and watch episodes in the afternoon myself, and I slowly but surely got into it. And probably around 86, I became a fan. That's where I draw the line in the sand, because I bought Doctor Who monthly. And I thought, this is a very fanish thing to be doing. I think I'm a fan now. So, mostly my older brother, but then me buying Dwim was it, I think.
Great. And where can people catch your podcast?
Oh, well, you can stream it straight from our site, which is thedwshow.net, or you can find us on Twitter at The DW Show, or on facebook.com/The DW Show. We tried to just use that name sort of everywhere. Streaming it off the website's probably the easiest, if people don't want to subscribe, don't want to dip their toe.
And you got 3 things happening now. What are the 3 things?
Oh, well, we have the main show, what we would call the flagship show. That's what we've done for years now, about 6 years now. That's an hour and a half long show that comes out every month. But we're also doing 2 20-minute shows. One is called The List Makers, where we make lists because, hey, as long as there have been Doctor Who fans, there have been Doctor Who fans making lists. And we have a topic each month. It might be, our top 5 companion departures. It might be our top 5 worst special effects, whatever. And we give our lists and then we riff on it for 20 minutes. The other one we make is called Primary Sources, and that's where I take old episodes. That's where I take old issues, I should say, of Doctor Who magazine, and I read the letters page to somebody, and that can spark some, conversation. They might want to answer directly to the letter and comment on what the letter said, or they might take a theme from the letter, or they might even just take the year the letter was written and then riff on something completely different. So that can go all over the place as well. And that's about a 20-minute show as well. We find people like the shorter stuff as well as the flagship show.
Brilliant. Well, people can check that out. And we're going to have you back real soon to talk about your first 10 episodes, the first 10 stories of Big Finish. So we look forward to chatting to you about that first list you've got.
Fantastic.